at the fact that that's the reality of the internet, and these people are going to say what they will and do what they will. But I also struggled in the courts for 11 years, with these individuals in the probate courts, which is kind of like a knockoff of the real, criminal courts. There's no due process in the lower courts, and there's no real, appointed judges. They're all commissioners, which it's just a hierarchy, and there's just people that are going to just not want to see you succeed, and even if that's in the hierarchy of your own family, these hurdles are very real and they exist, and people just by nature are competitive, but you have to have a solid knowing of yourself and who you are, and I guess it's really taught me to nurture myself and love myself and be okay with my own company, but less about me, and I want to talk about the whole concept. I really want to get into, before I get into this, I want to talk about, there's this bridge that really has to be created in order for everybody to be fairly served. There has to be a bridge, and I think the karmic margin call is that solution, because there's a lot of artists online that are feeling a disservice. There's a tension there online, as well as there's entertainment that wants to engage more on social media. However, there's all these barriers, and I think the virtual time bank is an amazing concept, and I just I think you have some really cool solutions to a lot of this.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, what comes up for me, well, first of all, I want to say, too, Amelia, please make it about you, too, because that's what equal partnership is. That is what creating an equal partnership economy is about. It's about giving and taking. So, even though I'm your guest, cultivating a sense of mutuality, is about giving and taking. So I do love hearing about your experiences, and kind of approaching this conversation from your experiences as well too. So please, feel free to talk all you want about your experience with what you're going through emotionally, because that's how we get real. That's how we get authentic. And that's the bridge. The bridge is being able to understand ourselves, loving ourselves enough so that we can go into another person's world with curiosity instead of judgment. I think a lot of what keeps the extractive economy so daunting is that everybody is judging, and that is a byproduct of that hierarchical relationships. You have to be it's survival of the fittest. It's dog eat dog. And it's created this world where we're just constantly judging, and when we start to come into a healthy relationship with ourselves, processing some of that pain, allowing that pain to really guide us towards deeper art, and I really do believe this. I really do believe that all emotions, grief, sadness, fear, anger, if it's given the space to express itself fully, it's going to lead back to joy. And when that honest feeling of joy can be experienced, you can step into someone else's world, even if they're being abusive, with a sense of curiosity. So yes, this online world is like this big casino where everything is competing for your time and attention. But if you can start to see it that way, that's the way it is, you can start to engage with it with a sense of with that sense of curiosity, where the game, you know what they're trying to do, and you can kind of take it apart, understand it, and if there is someone who is being antagonistic or competitive, especially on the online world, you ask questions, you get curious, you give them the space to find their own joy, and that, I think, is a high attainment, and that's what we those are the kinds of conversations we want to facilitate with our artists and with our teachers, especially, to get back into that safe space. And the online world is very scary. It is very scary.
It is.
First, it comes from loving yourself, and then it comes from being able to genuinely be generous with others, to make it less daunting, because the internet is a tool. The social media is a tool, but who's in charge of that tool? We kind of still have to change the nature of who's in charge of it.
It's crazy, because I think a lot of people have followed me since, when I originated with Porthole to Justice and a lot of my other groups, Mama Bear Justice, and I've been online, cultivating all of my concepts and ideas, and a lot of people have asked me the question, they pointed out the fact that you're being gang stalked, why don't you deactivate your account? I feel like that is, I don't know. I mean, I originated the Porthole to Justice because I felt that me and my son were in danger. And, I had exhausted the police. I realized were involved in the corruption and just how deep the corruption went. And I didn't feel like there was solution in the courts or remedy for the harassment that I was enduring publicly. So it was a desperate attempt to try and keep me and my son safe. And I have to say, I think it worked. I have full custody of my son, and he is doing fabulous. And he's very much aware, and he's even participated. At 8 years old, he came on the show, decided to come on and support the show.
Yes.
For International Boys Day with Paula Flo.
Yes.
With Paula Flo. But it's an interesting landscape that I've created. But it's also entrepreneurial, and it's something that eventually I think everybody is going to have to transverse. So, as we all evolve on this journey, I think somebody has to be the test, right? The test subject, or the blueprint.
And you have stood up to your bullies. You have stood up to your bullies on countless occasions. And that has not gone unnoticed.
I have, and I'm trying to be very strong. And, it's been a journey. But, it's people like you. And I have some really good friends behind the scenes that have just been super supportive. And, it just keeps me going. And I'm inspired. I'm inspired by you and your concepts and ideas, as well as, other people that have reached out to me behind the scenes. And, creating this fellowship has been so important.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that, too, because the friends that have been with you, the friends that you can do those deep dives with, as we progress on in this journey, they're going to be the most valuable resource that you have. Right now in our extractive economy, because of the competitiveness of it, we're encouraged to try to go big or go home. We're encouraged to try to get as many people to look at us at what we're doing. But I think by the new way of doing things, those friends, those who have been with you through thick and thin, those who can stay with you to develop kind of like the deeper conversations, the deeper content, really, really navigating some of those deep emotional waters. They're the ones that are going to be your greatest allies and your greatest partners in how the economy is going to turn around. So please tell me more about the people who mean the most to you, Amelia, and how do you spend your time with them?
Oh, wow. Are you serious? Okay.
I am serious. This is fellowship. So, yeah, that is one of the principles that we talk about in the Karmic Margin Call Project.
Fellowship.
Everything comes down to fellowship. If there's no fellowship, there is no time bank. There is no reversal of the economy. So please tell me who the people in your life are that mean the most to you, and how do you spend your time with them?
My son is my number one. He's my, him and I share a small, humble living space, which is also my recording studio. And, for the last 10 years. And my friends online, which is you. And I've attended some of your meetings online as well. I don't really have a big circle of friends, to be honest with you. I have a lot of friends online. They all seem to have their own agendas, which are great, and I love to support initiatives that I think are worthy, like yourself, and can be for the greater good. I often will host shows. I don't tend to go places without a witness because of what I've been through with the court systems and the targeting and so forth. So I do have one other confidant that I've had for 22 years. That's my friend Ramesh and his sister Asha. But I don't really, I'm pretty much, I have a very, very small circle.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that is really to be expected, because the more honest and the more authentic you are, the more it does kind of, it triggers those responses, those emotional responses that are still emotionally undeveloped. So the project, the Karmic Margin Call Project, really kind of just relies on, those more deeper relationships. That's how you start to build content. That's how you start to build value in your time, because you're going to want to spend more time with people who are nurturing you and that you are nurturing. I'd like to ask you something about you and your son, Amelia. What do you think is the most powerful lesson your son has learned from you?
Never give up.
Never give up.
I think my son coming, for a lot of years, for the most part, he doesn't actually participate in a lot of shows that I've hosted. However, he is aware that I've wanted to give up at times and I've wanted to not do the show anymore. He is somewhat aware how I've been affected. And he's been like, he's been the one that's kind of been like, Mom, when are you going to go back on the radio show? And there was a time where Paula Flo called me, and I hadn't done a show in a while. And she called me up, and she wanted to do this International Boys Day. And she's just the most, she's Paula Flo. She's a 27-year teacher, activist. This woman has a heart of gold. Anyways, she's so
I have great admiration for Paula, for the times that I've heard her on your show.
I do. Anyway, she called me and my son, and she wanted to do International Boys Day, and she just inspires me a lot as a single mom. She's a single parent as